Welcome to the Season 2 opener of Hubbardston Headlines. My name is Nate Boudreau, and I have the honor and privilege of serving as your town administrator. Today, we have with us Town Clerk Melody Green. She is a second-generation town clerk who has been with the town for about 6 months now. Mel, how are you doing? Can you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thank you, Nate. I'm doing well. In a couple days, it will be my 6-month anniversary of working here, and I have really enjoyed it so far. The townspeople have been very nice and welcoming, and everyone has been very helpful, and I've learned a lot, but I also still feel like I know nothing. It takes 4 years to learn the role, I've heard.
10,000 hours. Any upcoming projects or initiatives that you're particularly excited about?
Well, the current project is elections. We have a large election coming up in less than 4 weeks, and doing all the vote by mail stuff. We are also trying to maybe get some help on our zoning bylaws with hopefully an outside person coming in with that. Other projects, we're having an annual training for staff and board and committee chairs for open meeting law and conflict of interest. So that will be in a couple of weeks. And we also just recently, a couple months ago, finished cleaning out our vault, which was a project that was in the works for a while. We had King Information Systems come in for just 3 days, and they cataloged everything that was in the vault and gave us some things that we could get rid of. And so now everything is accessible. And going forward, it will be organized.
Keep it that way. All right. With town meetings and elections using more and more technology like poll pads, how have these advancements impacted the process for both staff and voters?
Well, having never done an election without a poll pad, I can't exactly compare, but I think that they're probably, those poll pads are much easier because you don't have to refer to a paper list. Everything is compiled into one thing. So if you come and vote during early voting and try to vote again on election day, it will say, nope, you already voted during early voting. So things like that make it easier.
Awesome. So speaking of elections, you managed a large-scale election very early in your tenure here. How did that experience shape your approach to running future elections?
Well, I learned a lot about voting by mail, which was a new thing for me. So last time for the primary, I started it probably a little later than I could have. I could have started it much sooner because they mail the ballots about a month before the actual election. So, but I got an update today from the Secretary of the Commonwealth's Election Division that said out of 842 ballots that were applied for, I have mailed out 842 already.
Good job.
So, and the current statewide percentage mailed is only 83%. So, we're doing good with that.
I like it.
And just getting prepared earlier.
Now, what should residents and voters expect for town vote by mail and early voting this year?
So, vote by mail ballots have all already been mailed out. I have received a few back, maybe about 30 out of 842 I've received back. So I just need to receive those back into my office by 8 p.m. on November 5th. The 8 p.m. is the close of polls on November 5th, which is the date of the general election. If you put it in the mail on November 5th, it has to be postmarked that day, and I have to receive it by 5 p.m. on the 8th. Of November, so it has 3 days, extra days to get to me, but it must be postmarked the 5th. Early voting starts October 19th, which is a Saturday, and it goes for 17 days before the election. So 2 Saturdays and then the 2 weeks before the election, early voting will be during normal business hours.
All right.
So,
moving on from elections, looking ahead, what are some important dates or timeframes that residents should know about?
2 deadlines I didn't mention for the November 5th election. The deadline to register to vote is October 26th, and the deadline to register or to apply for a vote by mail ballot is October 29th. And then we have, this is only my first 6 months, but I believe we have the census coming up and dog licenses around the December, January time. So as soon as elections are over, I'll be focusing on that.
All right. What are some of the lesser known but very important responsibilities of the town clerk's office that residents should be aware of?
Well, I brought a list with me because I brought a list. It's a very long list of things. I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, it's lots of lesser known things. I did a marriage intention today. Lots of random things that I didn't even know happened, like all the voting stuff, registering to vote, changing your party, all the boards and committees things. I'm definitely missing a bunch of things. Dog licenses, birth and death certificates, burial agent certificates, lots of stuff.
Have you run into any of the historians yet? When I was town clerk in another town, I ran into a number of people that were very in need of documents from the late early 1700s.
Not yet. I've had a couple people ask about cemetery plots, and then also one man whose mother was 100 who wanted me to look back through the birth records in town. She was born in 1924, so that was cool, looking through all the stuff. I haven't had too much time to scour through all that stuff because I've been
beautiful. Happy birthday to you, resident's 100-year-old mother. So, civic engagement is vital for local government. How do you plan to encourage more residents to participate in town meetings and elections and just public meetings in general?
Well, I'm going to take a cue from Nate's plan book and just say informing people. I'm thinking probably having something posted in my office might be good for that, because people come in all the time just for various things, and just really getting the word out there as soon as we know, because a lot of people, even though we do put the word out, we still get questions. So check out the website and check out, the website.
All right. How does your office collaborate with other departments to ensure smooth operations across the town?
Well, the town clerk's office collaborates with all the other departments in small ways, but it's mostly through all the boards and committees, like Board of Health and stuff like that, posting all their meetings, and just ensuring I, as my own department head, working with the other administrative members, Nate and the tax collector and assessor, just to make sure everything's running smoothly in the town.
Do you have any plans to introduce any new technologies or streamline processes to improve efficiencies in the town clerk's office?
Well, I'm finally starting to get a handle on some of the technologies that I wasn't aware of or didn't use at my previous job as a preschool director. One thing we're looking into is potentially getting an outside company to come in and go through all of our zoning stuff from all the past decades to make sure that's all in one place and all accurate, which will be good for the townspeople so that we can point them to one place for all the zoning stuff. And just when we have to do amendments to the Attorney General's office, having everything in one local place will be very, very helpful.
It ensures legal requirements as well. Like
That's
with
true.
The amount of turnover that just happens naturally, especially here in Hubbardston, there are so many hands touching these documents, and it's hard to tell who changes what and who was right and who was wrong. So if we are able to do that project, I think it'll really do a lot in streamlining just zoning and general bylaw use in the town of Hubbardston. Mm-hmm. So is there anything you want the people watching to know before we get going today? Maybe are there any similarities between the people you're working with now and the preschoolers you worked with before?
No, it's much quieter here.
Much quieter here. All right. Thank you very much for joining us today, and thank you to those at home for watching. We will be back next month with another special guest. Thank you.